Today we're back looking at some extremely entitled people.
I'm looking for a babysitter ASAP, paying $125 per week. I know, how expensive. I'm very generous, you see. I'll provide all that's needed for the child's care. All right. What are your hours like? 5 a.m. until 6 p.m. the whole day. Okay. So 52 cents an hour. Good luck.
For everyone out there who's looking for a job, you can work for her for 52p an hour. People don't want to work anymore. I love it whenever people say that. They're like, oh, people nowadays don't want to work. That's not true. I know so many people who want to work. However, they want to get paid a fair wage. In the UK, people don't want to work for £4 or £5. They want to get at least £10 or £11, money that you can actually live off. I also don't understand why people pay so low. The way I view it is that if you put a wage a tiny bit higher, people are going to want to work harder. Like, am I the only one who thinks like that? I pay $20 an hour for my kid. Never go cheap on someone who's watching your child. Always be generous there watching your child. Exactly, if you're going to pay them 52 cents an hour, eventually that child's going to go missing and be put up for ransom. In the end, you might have to pay someone 100 grand.
Yeah, we're allowed to be annoyed when you bring your children into adult-only spaces.
So I have 2 kids, and I 100% agree with you. But your post reminded me of, I think it was a couple of years ago, some friends getting married, posted on Facebook that no kids were allowed. It was going to be an 18 and up event. To which several people who were parents felt really just personally insulted by this.
Of course.
We're calling the couple rude and selfish, and that it's a family event, and children should automatically be involved if the parents are invited. And I commented, I'm like, I'm a parent and I will happily leave my children home. I got hate because of that. They couldn't believe that a parent would agree with that. To which then I told some of them that they were acting like children, so they probably shouldn't be allowed to go to the wedding.
I mean, that's one way to piss them off, and trust me, you do not want to get in the bad side of an entitled parent. My wedding was kid-free. I had my kids for the ceremony because they were in it, but then peace out, best choice I ever made. Exactly, it's like sometimes kids just don't need to be there. Some people want to have a child-free wedding. I hated being dragged to weddings as a kid. I would have gladly stayed the hell home. That's how I felt whenever I came to the shops. I was always dragged to the shops, and it was so boring. It's like, why can't they just stay home and watch TV? I feel like as well, these kids probably don't want to go to the weddings, but they're gaslit into wanting to go. The parents are like, oh, you really want to go, don't you? You really want to go to Gavin's wedding? When realistically, the kids just want to go and have a nap. I'm generally on the side of the parents in public places like planes and restaurants, but if you pay for a private event, you get to pick the company. Exactly, and also you have to keep in mind the parents get a tiny bit of time away from the kids. To a lot of parents, that would probably be a great idea. Your new commercial with the 2 dads makes me sick. Well then turn off the TV, sunshine. Hi Kim, if you're feeling sick, we suggest enjoying a delicious can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. Make sure to enjoy it hot so it can help warm up your cold dead heart. Hope that helps. What's going on with Kim? Why would you go out of your way to complain about a commercial? Just grab the TV remote and turn it off. I used the gender neutral bathroom today and 2 men came in while I was washing my hands. Man number 1 didn't care and used the bathroom in front of me. Man number 2 waited outside the bathroom till I left after seeing me inside. I thanked man number 2 for respecting my privacy. I felt so violated. This person went into a gender neutral bathroom and got upset whenever a man walked in. Talk about entitlement. Man number 1 treated you as an equal in a gender neutral bathroom. Man number 2 treated you like a woman. I don't know which one you want as treatment, but both treated you with respect and neither violated you. There's actually a big conversation in the UK and America right now about gender neutral toilets. People talk about how they're really bad and like they'll like put women at risk. If you go to Japan or like Asia, all the toilets are gender neutral. They don't really have male or female toilets, they just have toilets which are like for everyone. I'm eating breakfast at the busy restaurant below my apartment. A lovely young woman just asked me if I could hurry up and finish my breakfast. My friend is coming in 15 minutes and we want to take your seat, so I'll be here for the rest of the day. Honestly, that's the way to be. Do I know something? I'm with you. At the end of the day, if they want to be rude and ask you to basically hurry up, tell them to go screw themselves. Imagine going up to somebody eating breakfast and being like, oh yeah, hurry up in 15 minutes, my friends come and want your seat. Go get screwed.
Here she is. Sir, this was only an 8% tip you left me. Was everything okay?
Okay, so this is a tip situation.
8% though.
I just, you didn't really do much and I had to do all the eating, so whatever.
Keep your 8%.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't really know how to feel in a situation like that because I'm not American. I know a lot of people who work in restaurants and cafes only get money off tips. So from an outsider's perspective, I understand how they feel, but then it's like, why are we paying their wage? Shouldn't that company pay them that money? No tip for anyone, it's a job you get paid already for real. Okay, so I'm gonna disagree with you because a lot of times these people are literally paid $1 an hour and only make money off their tips. But in a way, that's so crooked. Like, why is it like that? How can a company basically say, yeah, we're gonna pay absolutely nothing, you make your money off people giving you money? Shouldn't it be that cafe giving the person the money. Tipping isn't really a thing in the UK because you legally have to pay someone a wage, but that's something I should definitely fix in America. I really hope this is scripted. I do think it was scripted. I've got a feeling it was a fake video. However, I've just got so many questions about it. It's not the customer's responsibility to make your wages up. That's a problem for your employer. A tip is a thank you gesture. I agree with that, but yet again, I can understand why the people want tips because they have to make money. But then that also makes me think, what happens if you went out for like a lunch and like you only had the amount of money for lunch and you weren't able to tip? Would they have a go at you? Like, I'm just curious about that. And then yet again, imagine if you didn't make a lot of money. You've got a child, it's your child's birthday, you really want to treat them. You take them out, get them a really nice dinner, you can barely afford it, you've literally saved for weeks. Bill comes and it's kind of expensive for you, and then you have to give a tip on top of that. What happens if you say no? Will you like get shamed? I don't know. It's just, oh, it's so stressful. In the future, I really want to visit America. However, that's a fear of mine because like I don't know who to tip and who not to tip. Do I tip the people in Walmart? Do I tip the people in cafes? Do I just tip everyone? Do I literally open my wallet and give everyone $20? I stopped going out to eat because of tipping. The food prices went up and so did the tipping. Oh my god, that as well. Like, everything's so expensive nowadays. And with tipping, I think you're meant to tip 20% of your meal. Let's say you went out with your friends and the meal costs like $50. You're expected to tip 20% of that, aren't you? So 20% of 50, I'm so bad at maths, I'm just gonna assume it's like 15. Imagine if you only had $50 on you, enough for the food, and then you have to give another 15. That would stress me out because I feel so bad for the workers, and then like I barely have enough. Some white lady just tried to do the whole I'm friends with the owner thing to me, and I said, oh really? I didn't realize we were friends. What's your name, LMAO? I low-key love that because I've actually seen that before. There's been situations whenever it comes to Karen videos where Karens are like talking to the police and they're like, yeah, by the way, my husband, he's really high up, he knows people, you know, he's gonna have a go at you. And in the end, the Karen doesn't know anyone, her husband literally is probably dead, and she ends up losing her job. I've always wondered why people say that. Like, it's very, very bizarre, isn't it? I'm an a-hole for telling my mum and stepdad that my dad doesn't owe them or their kids anything, and they are teaching my half-siblings to just be as entitled as they are. My mum left mine and my sister's dad when we were 2 and 1 for our stepdad. Our parents split custody of us, but as you can imagine, it was not beautiful. Everyone is BFF's kind of blended family. Dad was hurt and probably is in some ways. Mum was the one who told us what happened when we were still small, maybe when we were around 5 and 6, because she thought we were confused by the fact dad wasn't going to meet her and my stepdad's baby, and the fact we weren't around the baby all the time, which is something she thought we were sad about. We were never confused about dad not being around the baby. We knew why, because the baby was not his kid, like we were his kids. We also weren't exactly sad because babies are loud and we loved our dads. His house had him, we had more outdoor space, and we had kids to play with in the neighborhood. I think it did more harm than good the way mum talked about it, because she came across to us like she wanted us to dislike dad for being mad at her for leaving him for our stepdad. That's something I don't really understand whenever, you know, people go for a divorce and one parent wants the kids to hate the other parent. However, in the end, it'll be the opposite, then kids will eventually hate you. There was a point a year ago where my sister said she felt like mum wanted us to say we were glad it happened or something. I kind of got that too, but my sister could put it into words where I couldn't before. My parents don't really talk. I don't think dad is mad anymore, but he's never going to go out of his way for mum or her stepdad. I don't think he's wrong for that either. They don't care about his feelings, and our half-siblings aren't any of his concern, so it's never going to bother me. A couple of years, my mum and stepdad got into a car accident while we were all in school. My sister and I were at dad's that week, so he picked us up from school like normal. I'm not sure who asked or how many different people asked him, but at least one person asked if he could pick up my half-siblings from school when they picked us up. But why? They're not his kids, so why would he pick the kids up? They were in different schools, but they were right next to each other. My dad said no and he didn't take them, but someone communicated badly because my half-siblings were left there and it became a whole ordeal. My dad ended up being painted as the bad guy. My half-siblings were made very aware of the fact my dad didn't pick them up and how wrong others thought that was. My dad is now spoken about like he owed something and didn't follow through. My stepdad has called him a petty a-hole. Okay, so obviously it's bad that the mum and dad got into a car crash. However, do they not know anyone who can pick up their kids? At the end of the day, the kids aren't her ex-husband's kids, so they're not really his responsibility, are they? I'm tired of it, and when my mum and stepdad were talking about how cruel he was to my half-siblings, I told them my dad didn't owe their kids anything, and given how much my half-siblings speak crap about my dad, they were making them just as entitled as the two of them are. That they should have never been told anything and should not think my dad owes him something. They tried to ground me for speaking them that way, and I told them they were ridiculous, and I was done with them. My mum said I'm the oldest and should be more compassionate and understanding. She also accused me of being like my dad, I'm an a-hole. No, by the sounds of it, your parents are children. And yet again, notice how parents ground you whenever you're in the right. It's quite weird, isn't it? Like, oh, by the sounds of it, your mum is pushing her hatred of your dad onto her other two kids, and that's just so wrong. You're not the a-hole, but let's see what Reddit has to say. Not the a-hole, your dad is under no obligation to care for your half-sibling. I've lived in 3 different states, and schools have always required at least 2 emergency contacts. The school is at fault for not going to their emergency contact list and calling those people. You simply spoke the truth. Your mum and stepdad don't want to accept any accountability for their roles and what led up to your dad's refusal, so they lashed out at you. That person basically said exactly what I was saying. They're pushing their hatred of the dad onto the kids and onto the other kids. It's very, very weird.
He finally got me something to eat, but he got me the smallest one and he got himself 2 big ones, and he didn't get me a drink.
Why the f you pay for my shit? No, you don't. Then you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. No wonder why your dad left, bro, and he never came back, because you always complain about everything you do. Bro, there's not one day you don't complain about nothing. Like, stop complaining, life will get better. You understand? That's
This guy is spitting facts, man. There's so many entitled girls nowadays that is crazy, right? All these girls that expect the guys to do this and do that, be a gentleman, pay for this and stuff like that, right? And when they did this and that, they complain that it's not good enough, it's not what they like and stuff like that. If you expect a guy to do all these things, just shut the up and appreciate what they did for you. Appreciate their effort, okay? If you do not like the place or whatsoever, go on a date yourself. You can pay for the date, right? Why do you want to depend on a guy to pay for the date just to complain it is not good enough? Like what the guy said, just stop complaining so much and your life will be much better. If not, you will just be as as how much you complain it to be.
On her defense, his words are really hurtful, and if he doesn't want to buy food for her, don't take her out or just don't date her. I agree with the first bit, like, oh, that bit was a bit hurtful, but yet again, I could not imagine being with somebody who whinges 24/7. Princess syndrome, oh god. By the sounds of it, she does have that. The day my husband asked me to pay halves in rent is the day I pack my bag and go where he can't even afford half rent, mate. Oh damn, look at the husband, he proper clapped back. One thing I love about men is sometimes they're very, very sassy. Why are people so stupid? I paid extra for a window seat and a woman comes to me and Ridley tells me her kid wants the window, so I need to get up. If she had been polite, I would have given my seat, but she demanded it. Maybe the kid will learn some manners since mother obviously has none. I mean, if I were you, I wouldn't even give them the seat. I don't care. If you paid extra for the seat is yours. Yet again, I've noticed that on planes, like a lot of times people just expect that their kids will get it because they're kids. Screw your kids and teach your kids some manners. A lady showing no urgency as the cruise ship waits for her to board 45 minutes after boarding time. Wait, so she... Oh, that looks like angry people. They've been waiting for nearly an hour for her. If she's done that on purpose, she's a horrible woman. I don't know a lot of the context about that, but if she's literally done that on purpose, screw her. Okay, so someone said if the ship was waiting, it was because it was their fault. She was late, they don't wait otherwise. Okay, so if it was actually their fault, not her fault, she's not entitled. However, if it was her fault, absolutely, she is awful. Last cruise I was on, they made it extremely clear that if you weren't back in time, they would be gone. That's the best way to be. I cannot stand people who are late. Have you ever set time to go and meet somebody and then they turn up like half an hour late? From now on, if someone turns up late, I just go home or do something else. You think I'm gonna sit there and wait for you for 30 minutes? Absolutely not. What are you still salty about? In elementary school, there was a pencil machine in the front lobby where you could get pencils for 25 cents. There was also special pencils that had stars on them. If you got one of these special pencils, you could take it into the office and get a prize. Oh my god, what's going on here? It's like a mini lottery. One day I decided to get a pencil. I put in my quarter and out popped 2 pencils. One of them was a special pencil. I went into the office and told the lady at the desk that the machine gave me 2 pencils and one of them was special. She proceeded to say that the machine shouldn't do that, took the special pencil and didn't give me a prize. That was 19 years ago and I'm still pissed. This makes me unreasonably mad. What kind of adult does this to a child? I've got a feeling she was a bit of a Karen. I feel like whenever people think of Karens, I think of women that have like popped up in the last 5 years. Karens have been around since the beginning of time. I feel like the OG Karens were the really, really mean substitute teachers. Do you remember in school there was that one receptionist who was just so awfully mean for no reason, or like a classroom assistant or teacher? I feel like they were like the OG Karens. Well, anyways, guys, that's some entitled people. If it was to me looking more entitled people, let me know, definitely will. Press the bell, subscribe, and see you all tomorrow for another video.